Hi everyone, I'm Francesca Amato with Punished for Protecting, and this is a Punished for Protecting live broadcast here on Facebook and shortly to premiere on my YouTube channel. So please go check that out. It is in the link below as listed. And I just want to welcome everyone and thank you for joining. If you need to book a chat with me, that's also listed below in the description. Today I'm going to be talking about the Free Britney movement, but I'm also going to correlate that with the work that I do and the family court. And my strong emphasis that I have picked up, and it's not really recent, but with the effect that this has had and how this correlates with what's happening to women and children all over. I truly commend Britney Spears, and I was watching her, and I was watching and listening to her, which is all listed below. If you look on my Facebook page, on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, you could click the link to the Facebook page. I'll have that listed below as well. And you can you can go and you can follow me on my Facebook page as well. So I'm here today to talk about how this correlates and how what she's speaking out on. And I just adore the fact that this woman has spoken out with regards to calling what she's been through human trafficking. This is indeed trafficking. One of the things that stood out to me, and again, you can watch the videos, they are below on this page, or you can just Google them. They're all over the internet, they're all over TV. When Britney Spears spoke, so many things got me motivated to come on today and speak to all of you. Now let me just, hold on a second. Why is it saying? Okay. I cannot see anybody's comments. I don't know what's happening with Facebook. But as you guys know, the last time I was on here, they messed with my sound so bad. So I don't even know right now if you guys can hear me. So I'm hoping that you can, because I cannot even see your comments, which is not usual for Facebook Lives. But I'm just going to continue to go on and hope for the best, and then I'll go back and I'll check your comments later. There are several aspects that I want to discuss today in order to help you that are watching, and my strong emphasis on women and children, and why I've gone this route. But I also, many of you are fathers that come, to me and are getting extensive help as well. This is not an anti-father campaign in any way, shape, or form, because I am very much pro mother and children and the sanctity of mother and children and what is happening to women and children. And why I wanted to come on today after watching and being inspired by Britney Spears. The good thing about Britney Spears is who she is and how large she is, and how her following is enormous, and how they help gird her up, they help support her, and to get her up out of the muck and the mire. When I look at Britney Spears, I think of that photograph that's gone around for years, where that little tiny leaf that could not push through the heavy ground made its way through, and that is Britney to me. And Britney's voice is your voice and my voice. And although I have been blessed to be a voice for so many of you, I feel like Britney is now a voice for me and so many of you, and how this correlates, in which I'm going to be bringing that to a head. I just want to kind of emphasize and talk a little bit about when she spoke before before the referee, and how articulate she was, how smart she was, how together she was in the whole thing, how inspiring she was. And I definitely encourage you all to please watch and listen to her, because it will encourage you too. But the reason I bring that up is because also, as an American Disability Act advocate, as she spoke, she was clear, and she was very good for for quite a while actually. I'm sure she's been preparing for this for quite some time, and you understand the adversity that she has around her. Her own father wants to silence her. Her own father used a terminology, which I quote, "We'll let the courts decide." That is the most dangerous words on the planet. We'll let the court decide, which I'm going to put that over. I'm going to take that little portion right there, and I'm going to put that over here right now, and we're going to go back to "we'll let the courts decide," and I'm going to talk about that. Okay? Because no matter how many of you have suffered with an abuser in your life, there's nothing as abusive as the courts. Okay, and this is coming from me, who watches judges all over the country. But I have to say, I did see one in Rockland County the other day, and thumbs up to this judge, which I'm not going to say his name yet because I learned something in my life. Do not praise something until you've actually seen it to the completion. Okay, but so far, I'm liking what I see, and I'll bring it back to here at some point. But okay, so let me just kind of break everything up, and then I'll bring it all together for you guys so that it's understandable and that it helps you. So there's a couple of things. Now we're going back, oh my goodness, I would have to say, was it around 2007, 2008, maybe sooner, maybe earlier than that? I know they stripped her around 2007, 2008, something like that. But she had married Kevin Federline, and I remember sitting. I was actually in my office back then. I worked for 1-800 Mattress, which was I was a regional manager. I was a manager of many different stores in the region, in a full region, and showrooms. And I was in the I think I was in the Ossining showroom at that time, and I was watching it on the TV, and I just remember in my spirit thinking, my goodness, like, this woman is not like this. I believe she had Christian upbringing. This woman is not like this. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that she was being harmed. I knew it. And they were saying she was crazy and all this stuff. And I knew it. I knew that that was not the case. And I knew that he came in to destroy her life. He was one of the people to come in to destroy her life. But they don't want her destroyed. You understand? You have to understand, mothers and children out there that are watching, and fathers, mothers and children, fathers that protect women and children, and mothers and children. When I look at her, I know, because she's the voice for so many people, they don't want to destroy her per se, because then she can't be their performing show dog. Okay? Now, she wants to use her talents and her gifts, and it gives her peace, and it feeds her. That's what she's supposed to be for, okay? But not to her expense. And obviously we'll get into that with this where they've taken over her life and everything. And but they don't want to destroy her to that point, just like they don't want to destroy you where you're no value to them any longer. That's why you hang on a thread with these psychos, okay, these demons. And so they don't want to do that, but they do want to control her. And that is a form of death. I mean, it's destruction. It's abuse. It's non-protection from the abusers out there. And there are abusers. And we all know that. And as women, and I'm somebody who's never been a women's libber. The View actually put on a great, I put it in here, and I actually talked about it. And I said, like, I've never really agreed with these women. A lot of the things they talk about are not my conservative beliefs in any way, shape, or form. However, they did a great job, and I'm going to give them props where it's due when they discuss the whole thing on Britney Spears. And please watch it. If you haven't, please watch it. I'm probably going to have to get up and get a drink, so just to let you guys know. But so what I listened to, what they've done to her. So they have an IUD in her. They ripped. First of all, her children. Remember the whole custody battle this poor thing went through. Okay. Now we knew that Federline is an abuser of drugs, an abuser overall. Okay, and he wanted the custody of the children. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. It's been my experience, my knowledge, my intense study and research. And let me kind of backtrack and go a little bit about my own story. But just give me one moment, guys, because I'm going to literally get a drink right now. And my son and I were like up late. We had like the giggles yesterday. We were laughing. My sister knows all about it. And I'm a little bit tired too. So just forgive me. But give me one moment. I'm just going to get a drink so I can touch on this subject, because I really feel it's going to encourage all of you today. And I want to touch on mothers. I want to put a very strong emphasis on mothers today to be empowered. So just give me one moment. And thank you. Flip-flops. Flippity flip 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 flop. Okay, hi guys, I'm sorry. I just had to get a drink. Just give me a second. I rushed back without actually taking the drink. So, okay. So, so let's go to a little bit about my story. So you guys that know me know that I wrote the book Punished for Protecting. It's the number 4, The Injustice System of Family Court. It could be, it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, many bookstores, Walmart, so on and so forth. You guys could definitely go get a copy of that, and I highly recommend it. It's a very easy read. And it's the initial story that kind of took this off, and showing what happens and the injustice system of family court and what's happening. And why we're going to go back over to that little package that I put over here where the father said we're going to let the courts decide, as if the courts are just the all-knowing, all-seeing God. They have the answers, and we know that they have done nothing short of destroying lives. And if you followed me all these years, then you would know, and you would know that you know how badly these courts are and how they are far worse than any abuser could be, because they have the authority to stop the abuser, and instead they empower these abusers. And so I'm going to talk about my story a little bit now, just because I want to make this very clear, because people have touchy feelings many times. They're easily triggered. I'm an ABA advocate. I suffer from PTSD myself, post-traumatic stress disorder. There are levels of post-traumatic stress disorder: combat veteran, PTSD combined with actual mental illnesses that could harm other people, and then all the mothers I work with and the fathers that I work with that have PTSD that would never hurt a fly, that are good people, stable people, keep their lives together type of people, but they're harmed, they're traumatized. Hence the term post, something that came after, a traumatic experience, and then with the courts forcing you to stay in these experiences. So it's ongoing, traumatic experiences. Dealing mechanisms, therapeutic remedies, therapeutic healings, your intelligence, your lack of intelligence, whatever, how deep it is. Post-traumatic stress, it causes stressors, it causes brain differences, it can cause memory loss, it can cause just a variety of things. And some people, if it's combined with other things, or if they're giving you bad drugs and so on and so forth, if they're giving stuff that's actually affecting you worse. Okay, I don't take any medications whatsoever. I'm my sister's a holistic practitioner, so we live very, healthy lives and so on. I don't do drugs or alcohol or anything like that. So, but other people that whatever they're doing, whatever the combos are in their lives, how severe is the abuse, how ongoing is it, and so on and so forth, it continues. These stressors continue, right? So the courts are there to literally harm you further. When I look at people like Britney or Paris Hilton, for example, and she also came forward, and then the judgments of the outside world that don't know things, they think they know things, and so they hate people automatically just because they're rich. They don't realize that there's discriminations against people just for being rich. Like there's something wrong with being rich now, or there's something wrong with you being poor now. So there's discriminations of all kinds. It doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your ethnic background, it doesn't matter your social or economic status. None of that matters. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. Okay, you lose the title of being a human being, and now you're judged based on whatever label you give yourself or others give you. And that's an issue. That's where we need to grow up as a human race, right? We need to mend, and we need to heal, and we need to love one another, okay? And we also need to separate from those that are unloving, unkind, evil, because there are evil people in the world. The Bible calls them, you are children of your father, the devil. Kind of simple there. God doesn't unify everybody. God doesn't bring together everybody. Okay? All right. So let me kind of break this down. So, and one of the things I love that Britney said was about the therapy. She said, I turn to God. So she's been attacked viciously because I do believe she has a true and genuine faith in God. And the majority of my victims that come to me have a true and genuine relationship and faith in God. And it shakes our faith to the core. Let me tell you, you guys know that when you go through this ongoing hell, it gets to the point where we question God. And if anybody says that they don't, you're lying to yourself and you're lying to God. At the end of the day, is that a little spider? Ugh. At the end of the day, I've seen people ask, and I've seen people marvel, and I've seen some of these commentators marvel at Britney saying, because you guys, we've watched what she's been through to a large degree, even though some of it was kind of camouflaged and hidden because she's being told what to say. She's fully controlled. They said it's amazing that she didn't commit suicide. Well, I have to say that all of us in our darkest hour, when we're questioning God, how do you allow this? How do you allow children to be abused like this? How do you allow the innocent to be harmed like this? How do you allow innocent mothers to be arrested for no reason? How do you let these vile perpetrators get away with it? How do you let them have this control? How do you let these judges continue to sit there? How do you let these child attorneys lie like this? I've done it. You know, at the end of the day, when I hear something like that, how Britney did not commit suicide, okay, I know that the God in her, greater is he that is in her than he that is in the world. I know that the God that's in me, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And I know that the God that is in you, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world, has kept us. Okay? But I'm a very real person. I like real things, not fakes. And I'm very honest with my feelings. I'm very honest with what I've been through. I'm very upfront, despite whatever anybody might say. No matter who's in the public eye, good or bad, you're always going to have those people, those naysayers, those crazies. It's from Bible times. Job had naysayers, right? So, on saying that, and without losing my train of thought, as I watched her, she did really, really good. And then all of a sudden, I heard, and as an ADA advocate and somebody who suffers myself, I know that feeling when you feel rushed, when a person, and this is something I'd like to tell people, when you're in a meeting, and it's hard, believe me, and you're speaking, public speaking, and you're doing, what have you, it's your chance to finally talk, and they cut you off, even if it's the most well-meaning person, they cut you off, like they had to tell her, Britney, slow down your speech, because that's something that'll happen. You're telling a story, you're finally telling all your traumas, and you're getting it out there, and you have a judge telling you whether I can let you live or die. You have a judge telling you whether you save or protect your children or not. You have a judge sitting there, and you have a judge that's more likely not of the faith, that's making a decision for your life that should have never been. Bring us back to Dad's statement, let the courts decide. This is what we're trying to get to stop. And I have to educate the masses on that thought that these courts are good, that these courts are just, that these courts are righteous, that these courts are fair, when they're not. You talk about what the Father's doing and all the money and all the stuff and this and that. Well, these courts are, people thought millions, they're trillions of dollars, and the fiscal reports prove the trillions of dollars that they're earning and making per day, honey, not even year. You can look these up yourself. And so the attacks are fierce. And it's like, okay, excuse me, God has us to be set free. Hence the new, I want you guys to see, here I've got 3 hashtags. I've got the Free Britney. There's Free the Children, which actually was a young man, that amazing 12-year-old kid, about freeing the children that have been enslaved labor, okay? And then we have something that's coming up, which I'm not going to touch on just yet. We're about to birth this thing. We're about to tell you something powerfully amazing for New York and Canada, my Punish for Protecting Incorporation. We have great things that are about to explode that I'm not going to put here just yet, but I'm going to give you a little taste. And my dear friend Alicia, who actually came up with this vision for Free the Children, I am so psyched about it. It has given me so much hope, okay? I recently had to go through a horrendous battle, okay? So my battle, and then my battle with all the families, and my heart and soul and passion goes into it. And then I was retaliated by Judge Anthony McGinty in a most horrific way recently. Okay, it's been going on October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. 9 months just about here, just about. And I've had to go through a lot, guys. And my closest friends only know about this. And, well, there's some of my story in the Senator Michelle Hinchey 3.5 hour briefing that we did, which I should have on this page, and I definitely have on the YouTube channel. You'll learn, where I have a whole bunch of mothers that have come forward with regards to the abuse of Anthony McGinty. Mothers have come out of the woodwork. We're going to talk on that too. I need to incorporate all of this in this live video for you guys. I really believe this is going to be very encouraging today. But what this has done, of course, it's given me even more compassion. It's given me more empathy. It's given me more understanding. It allows me to understand, like, when I help families with anxiety and acute anxiety and PTSD, and as an ADA advocate, it's gotten me to get to be literally expert status in the topic, filing all kinds of US DOJ reports on non-compliance, learning through my mentor, who's absolutely amazing, Victoria Gribben. She is off the charts forensic expert, unbelievable. And then I'm beginning to consider her like a mentor also. She's actually my therapist. Jillian Gordon, who's also just absolutely amazing, learning off of them, and to be able to spot certain things. And so when Britney was starting to get that shaky voice, like the PTSD was getting triggered there, and then her speech was speeding up. And you guys have to understand, like, we need to give room for that. And when we cut somebody off in speak or thought, even just anybody, it causes those triggers to kind of enhance a little bit. I've been told, well, you're too smart and you're too articulate and you're too, like I did my own trial, that you couldn't possibly have PTSD. See, that's a discrimination also. That's a discrimination also. So if you're smart, I guess you can't have something, you can't be traumatized. And so one of the things that Brittany talked about was I lied. So sometimes lying comes from fear and control. And she said, I lied and said I was happy, but I'm not happy, and I wasn't happy, and I've been traumatized. So we've all been traumatized. So I'm telling you about my story a little bit because I believe this is also going to help you, and everything I do to help you guys nationwide, worldwide, okay? My own family, of course, and, my greatest, and I know you guys can understand this, but my greatest empowerment, besides coming from God, of course, but my greatest empowerment comes from my children. Now, I leave my daughter pretty much out of the public for many, many, many reasons, and I'm not going to even go there as to even why, because there are such crazy people out there. And my son, obviously, his life is very public with everything because of the book and the huge following and the public persona, so to speak, and the all the interviews and all the stuff. So, and he is my empowerment. My children are my empowerment. Their amazing love, and the fact that when I have him kept safely in my care, I can literally conquer the world. When I'm going through the battle and he's not safe, it rips me apart, guys. It literally rips me to the core. And I question God, and I don't understand. And there's things that we'll probably not understand until we're on the other side with him in glory. Hopefully, maybe he'll tell us some things, I don't know. But I'm bringing this to your attention because when the issue took place in 2017 and it was so crazy and over the top, I did a federal lawsuit in which I just stopped doing. Had I continued to move forward, and I could have, I would have won then. I'm going to win now. I have a 300-page federal lawsuit that I'll be filing very soon against Anthony McGinty. What he has done is nothing short of diabolical, and not just to me. Okay, he targets me. He has worked with Amy Ingram, the child attorney, Andy Gilday, the father's opposing counsel, the father. They've worked together. I have full-on ability now, or I should say I have full-on, how do you put it, absolute evidence and proof. But now I was able to show, because you have to be able to explain it and show how are they connected? How did this happen? I was able to establish audits. I'm very, very proud of myself. I've already had a whole bunch of certifications. I've even gotten more through this time. The devil wants to destroy us. It comes to rob, kill, and destroy. But they don't want us dead. You understand? In some cases, they do. In many cases, they don't. Because like Britney Spears, she's worth a lot of money to them. We're worth a lot of money. If your children are disabled, they're worth a lot of money. There's different targets for different values, so to speak. They don't want to fix a court case. They want to empower the abusers because the protective, loving mother or father is going to keep coming back to save their children. When I began coming into this, when I had this situation happen in 2017, I remember standing at the time in my sister's office. And I was like, oh my God, I have just been punished for protecting. I'm punished for being a mother. Something so simple. And it just like the heavens opened. It was like, oh, wow, that's really something. Punished for being a mother. And it was like, I could just see this into a huge movement. Punished for being a mother. Because it's just, what did you do wrong? You have a clean background. You don't get in trouble. You have to live a normal life, And I represented countless women and men that were punished just for being normal, raising their children, providing for their children, protecting their children. Somebody's an abuser, whether they're an addict. And that doesn't mean that I'm against addicts, because I help addicts get free. I'm for that. But those that don't want to change, or those that are just used to their character, their as Jillian puts it, their pathology, or their makeup and the way they are, or their shadiness of getting that drug, do you know what I'm saying? Or being that abuser, okay, of physical abuse or what have you, or hiding their sin, you know, their child abusing children or what have you. They operate in a way where they know how to manipulate everybody around them. And if you're not like that, you don't understand that. You're just good-hearted, you're compassionate, you're caring, so and so. And you have to get wise on how they act and why you're drawn to these kinds of people. And as helpers, right, and as advocates, or, you know, what have you, we are drawn to these kinds of people because we want to help, right? And we also have to learn to separate, which is something that we get wiser as the days go by, right? So in a particular case, when you have these narcissistic judges and these narcissistic child attorneys and these guardian ad litems and all these bullcrap artists, right? They're narcissists, they're abusers, okay? In the same aspect, which is where you have to have the wisdom and understanding, is somebody like Britney Spears, and I'm using her as an example because everybody knows who she is. When you're abused to that level, see, she's breaking free. She's that leaf that was able to break through. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Britney. God bless you. And she's being strengthened by her fans. And we're being strengthened by one another and by her and by God, right? So to come through and to break through and to break through and to break free from all of this, because we weren't put here to be victims. We weren't put here to be victims. I've said that for years. We weren't put here to be victims, okay? We weren't put here to not travel and not own homes and not be and have everything in life and protect our children and so on and so forth. We weren't put here for that. We were put here to do well in life and be blessed. And it says God, you know, came to give us life and life abundantly. Right? The enemy comes to destroy, rob, kill, and destroy. So I say that because on that day when this epiphany was like, wow, I'm being punished for being a mother, like, what did I do? I'm a mother. What did I do? It made no sense. And as time goes on, it makes more no sense. And when I went back into the court in January, I told them, I'm not here. I'm not giving consent. I'm not here consensually. I'm here not against my free will. I'm here because I know the damages you'll do to my family. I knew the damages that this sick judge was going to do to my family. And I didn't want to spend another $200,000 on attorneys. Thank the good Lord, he provided all that back then. Okay? But you have to remember, just like who's the mob boss that, you know, didn't get put away because of all the killings and horrible things he did. He got put away because of an IRS thing. The way the crazy legal system works, it's unjust and it's illegal and it's wrong on every level. Some of these people don't get put away for their exact crimes of what they're doing to people and families and children off of this market, this business, this CPS, ACS, baloney business where they keep children in harm and they take them from abuse, they take them from safety, place them into abuse, or leave them in abuse and have excuses, then things that don't make any conscious sense, okay? But on that day, I was gearing toward mothers because I see, no question, hands down, coming from me, nationwide, okay, liberal New York, coming from me, there's no question the amount of mothers I get versus fathers. No question, hands down. No question, hands down. Way more mothers versus fathers, and here's what happened with me. And this is what makes me protect them even more. And still takes dads. Still takes dads. And I have a story that I'm going to do soon with a local man here, another grown child of abuse, who's also being destroyed by Anthony McGinty. So I do take fathers, and he has gone after dads too. I have another one who's a police officer, destroyed by Anthony McGinty, male, okay? But there's no comparison. There's a gender bias against women and children, and he's clearly, and he's one of many, has a gender bias. I just happen to have a huge amount on one judge. So sometimes you put your focus and emphasis, plus he constantly retaliates against me, on one for the betterment of all. Okay, it's kind of a plan. But I'm saying that because in 2017, when this insanity took place, I began, of course, changing it. I changed it, and I changed my story to Punish for Protecting the Injustice System of Family Court. I changed just the name of it to Punish for Protecting just that, and then I named my nonprofit after that. Instead of this, the story was going to be called Punish for Being a Mother. That's what the story was going to be called, Punish for Being a Mother. Now, I probably will write another book based on that, and I am in a second book, and it's just taking me more time because of this, and because they tried to silence my voice, and because a man came into my life that everybody warned me about. I'm completely free and happy, and I don't care about that. It's like whatever. But just to say, because I know that this will touch women, because I understand you guys have been through this and you understand this very well. The person I met was definitely not the person I left. But it was to bring me down. And then I had, as you guys know, if you follow me, you saw the amount of people that tried to bring me down because they want to silence the voice. And I know my gift and my anointing is in my speech. I know where my gift is. I know where I feel peace. I know where God shows me where he breaks things, and I know what they try to go after. I know what the enemy tries to take down. Other people, their voices and their singing, their anointing is in their whatever your calling is. Okay? That happens to be mine, whereby I know that if I take the stage for something, it's going to do something. And I don't say that in a prideful way. I say that we should know our gifts. We should know our gifts. We should know what we're good at. And I know that this is where he wants me. And I know that I have found doors that will take this system down. I know that I'm doing these US DOJ non-compliance ADA reports for all these people because the Department of Justice has been just as guilty as for child trafficking. The FBI is just as guilty in child trafficking. But now it's getting the attention that it needs. They're guilty too. They're guilty. There's no question. They're guilty. I'm speaking truth here. They're guilty. They're just as guilty. Our court system is very guilty. Our court system was never voted in. The family court was never voted in. That's guilt. That's trauma. That's that's treason on American soil. I've talked about this. If you haven't ever seen it before, please look up Punished for Protecting on YouTube. It's on Facebook too. Look it up, and look up where it's the New York State Assembly. Okay, where I regurgitated back the facts to them. And I have so many others, but that one I think is the one that would really touch you and to understand. But what I'm trying to say is so that when I went back to 2017 and I pulled in all these dads, and these dads came at me like 100 million of them, what ended up happening was, and please hear this from my heart so you understand. Because I promise you I'm gonna bring this to some kind of an understanding, and if anybody has questions, they can just watch this video. 80% of those fathers turned out to be actual abusers. I'm probably lowballing it. I have a percentage of dads, and they know I put them through some scrutiny and hell, and then I help them, and they have every right to be with their children, every right. And I actually had a dad recently, like in tears, something horrible happened. I'm not going to get into the situation. Mother is an abuser. She's not safe, and I convinced him to get custody of the child. Okay, and I know him for a number of years, and I convinced him. So I'm not anti-dads. Okay, I don't even want to hear it. Don't even go there. Every nonsense, I've heard it. The child will be endangered in her care. It's very simple. It's already happened. But that dad's heart was, I don't want to take the child from the mother. I never thought in a million years, I definitely don't want to take sole custody. And I was like, in this case, you have to. Okay, so my point is that any dad that's not an abuser would never take sole custody from a mother. Just wouldn't do it. Trust me on that. Social science research proves it. Okay? Fathers that are abusers, their goal is to take sole custody from that woman that they hate with a passion. And if they no longer can control you and they no longer can abuse you, that's how they're going to abuse you. And that's how they're going to control you. Prove me wrong. I dare you. I dare you. And so because of this, I've put my strongest emphasis because of the fact that my convictions are so strong that I never want to hurt. If I don't want to be the person that's hurting a mother and child in any way, shape, or form. Does that make sense? I don't want to be that person because I'm the power that I hold to protect, and the power that these judges hold to protect, and they do the opposite, right? So I don't want to fail anybody, and I never intentionally failed anybody. And you know what I'm trying to say. I hope that makes sense to all of you that are watching right now. So I know I have no comparison of the amount of men. I do see a lot of men that don't want to pay child support to their children, which I think is sick. I think that's absolutely disgusting, and so that's why they want custody. And then when they have these children, they have zero time for them. They do nothing with them, and their mothers are there with innocent mothers, good moms, okay? And their mothers are there, and these kids are left off in the streets. They're left off at neighbors' houses. They're left off with babysitters instead of with their mothers who can be there for them, do things for them. And it's amazing, you powerhouse mothers, because I know I'm one of them. I could take my kid skateboarding 3 to 5 days a week, 7 days a week even, run all the stuff that I do, and you guys know what I do. Run a nonprofit, help families, suffer from the family court, battle things myself, work, take my child to music, take my child here, there, and everywhere. Do everything. I mean, with my son, I paid for Hudson Hills Montessori School. I paid for tutors for my child. I was extensively involved in homeschool, public school, whatever it was. Okay. My child's never failed a grade. Okay. My child's been put through hell. Christian's been put through hell. We've been put through hell. Through freaking hell. And it is no longer tolerated. Anthony McGinty, you are not tolerated. This is not acceptable. And I'm going to make sure that he is going to be the judge that's going to be emphasized to set an example for all these other psychos that are out there. Okay? And he's one of many. And I've named them, and I've named them, and I will name them. He should have recused a long time ago. He refused. How do you not recuse when I wrote a book about you, for heaven's sake? How do you not prove to the outside world and all these people that know, or don't even know me personally, but just read the story, that you're not out to get me? It's so obvious. So obvious. But what it does is it makes me even more relatable to you and to your sufferings. And that's why I want to come today, because literally Britney Spears has empowered me even further. She's encouraged me. You, Britney Spears, have encouraged me even further. And I want to be able to let you mothers out there know you are so powerful. You are amazing. God bless each and every one of you. It is sacrilegious to separate women from children. It is horrible, and it is horribly cruel, and it is diabolical to take a mother from their child and a child from their mother, except for like in the extreme case that I just recently had, where this father will never take the child from the mother. Okay, but she did make it dangerous for the child. Dangerous, physical abuse on the body. Okay, dangerous. But in all these other cases where these mothers are amazing human beings, wouldn't hurt a fly, works very, very hard, has to go upward battle, doesn't get support from the father at all, zero, nothing but abuse from these fathers. I commend you. I pray for your strength. Women, let's come together. Let's love one another, which I see this all the time. Let's stick together. Okay, there's less than 6% of women that lie. And all women get treated like they're the ones that are lying. That is absolutely sick. That's like blaming the rape victim that they asked for it. That is so sick. So sick. And then the family court empowers these abusers. I have no respect for any father other than a real situation that takes a child from a mother, or children from their mother, or mothers from their children. And these mothers that are out there that have no access to their children, or have to call their abuser to speak to their child after their child has been abruptly removed and is in heartbreaking trauma and anxiety and fear and pain and sadness and tears. And then the lies that are told, because they can't find anything wrong with these mothers, so they make up stories. And then I hear mothers say to me, they took up something from my past, like 30 years ago, that they never had a pattern of, or it was a false allegation from something, and they use that. And I go, take a look at this 15-page criminal record. This person's got sole custody. Take a look at this 20-page criminal record. This father's got custody. Take a look at this, this. Take a look at this actual pedophile has custody. Don't look at your past if you actually did something wrong, or you're accused of something you didn't do. Or like with McGinty, he makes sure that every mother gets arrested for something she never did. Okay? How do you take something that's so unnatural, because that's unnatural, that's an unnatural way to live without your child when you're a protective, loving, normal mother, and then restrain them from what your human rights, civil rights, ADA rights, you violate all of that. That's why I do all the ADA non-compliances. Please come to me. I'm happy to help you, because the more the better. Okay? Book an appointment. We'll get this going. Okay? And it's important, guys. Please have respect for my schedule. Okay? I even help people while I'm like helping 30 others and running my own life. Okay? But please have respect for my schedule. That's what I ask you. You know that I'm there for you. But I also am one person. Okay? And that's why there's no excuse for these judges when they say they're overwhelmed or they're, and I got something else to tell you, but when they say they're overwhelmed or they have such a caseload, well then, you know what? There's people that need work. Okay, there's judges out there, people, I'm sorry, forgive me, people out there that actually could judge things righteously and properly. If you're overwhelmed, then you're not making good decisions. Are you? Are you? Common sense. And then they have, listen to me carefully, my friends, the attorney, the American Bar Association in the state of New York, and I've got to check the other states. Anthony Spelly actually is the one that led me to this understanding. It's called, oh my goodness, it's called Judicial Wellness. Go read about it. I shared it, so it's on my page somewhere. Judicial Wellness. Judicial Wellness. Okay, hold on. So if they're on drugs and they're drinking and they're addicts, or they have depression, or they have untreated mental illness, they can go through judicial wellness through the American Bar Association committee to get help. Wow. So if they have all these problems, why are they making decisions for sober people like myself? Sober people who don't do these things. People that didn't have to change their lifestyle because they never had that lifestyle. They live a healthy, normal life. Not offending anybody that has addiction issues. I'm here for you. I embrace you. I love you. Not offending if you have mental health issues. I embrace you. I'm here for you. And I love you. I'm saying when you're not, listen, if I'm in a bad state of mind, I don't help people at that moment. I actually have the decency and the respect for human life that I'm not going to put my problems and look at you with shady eyes, blackened out eyes, and make a decision for your life when I had that kind of power to do that. How dare I? How dare you? And if we have to have a committee like this, that should be setting off red flags all over the world. That if these judges have these problems, why are they in positions of power like this? Let's face it, America, I want to ask you a question. Whatever happened to ethics? There was a time when a school teacher was at a table. She was at a table on vacation. It was a big round table. I'll never forget this. And there was an alcoholic beverage on the table, and she was censored and removed, I believe. She wasn't even drinking it. Who knows if she was drunk? I don't know. She was sitting there. Now we have no ethics at all. These guys can do cocaine. They can drink. They can sell drugs back and forth. They can give marijuana and cocaine to their coworkers as forms of screwing up your life and get away with it. And that there's committees called judicial wellness that understand that these people have severe mental illness and problems, the dangerous kind. That's very dangerous when a drunk judge or a non-sober judge is on the bench rendering orders from the bench. That affect your lives and my lives. So we need to come together with people like Britney Spears and others, and myself. Please, I'm asking you guys, okay, because this is urgently important to protect our neighbors and ourselves. Like my YouTube channel, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss anything, okay? And that we can help one another, okay? And like I said, we do have something very powerful coming for the state of New York and Canada. And I'm very excited about it because I have Punished for Protecting Canada as well as USA. I hope I didn't leave anything out today. I love you guys very much. Let's keep up the good work, all right? Free the children. Free Britney Spears, okay? And if you look, I just started the hashtag, which I never did before, I'm surprised. Hashtag Punished for Protecting. Please spread it. God bless you all.